What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Deus Ex. We just arrived in Hong Kong and Jock has been grounded at a helipad run by Majestic 12. As soon as you start, enter the floor grate that's immediately in front of you and let's get this going. The first thing I'm going to do is go into some kind of like a munitions bay or something where I'm mostly just showing this off because there's a couple of multi-tools in here, but at this point in the game I already had 20 multi-tools, which is the max that you can carry at once. So I wasn't able to take them, but they're there. But they are there, just so you know. And then this is the wrong way. We want to go the other way. So yeah, not this way. We want to go, hold on, this way. What we need to do is, Jock's helicopter is on a weapons lock, and we need to disengage it. But the control room where we can do that is locked, and we need to get the key. We also need to hack the security panel to disable the security cameras so that we have more free access. And there's 2 security bots that are locked up in little mini garages, for lack of a better term. We need to disable them using EMP stuff. So first things first, let's get those cameras off. Here's our security terminal. Let's hack it. And let's turn all these cameras off. And then the first security bot is 1 level below us, right over here. The EMP grenade that we have, we're going to equip it, throw it in here right behind the robot, get away so that the blast doesn't affect you, and that should disable the robot. You can tell because the robot will literally say disabled over it. I'm guessing that's part of JC Denton's like retinal augmentation or whatnot, but if it says disabled over the robot, it means the EMP blast worked. So next thing's next. We need to go this way. We're going to go after the second security bot, and then we're going to get the key to that control room or whatnot. Since we only had 1 EMP grenade, in order to disable the other robot, we are going to use an EMP blast from our spy drone augmentation. Yes, we have the spy drone augmentation now. F5 is the hotkey for it. After you oh, there's a lockpick on the pipes right here. Take it. Anyways, so the security bot's up here. Basically, when you activate the spy drone, you no longer have control of JC, you're now controlling the drone. So basically, you want to watch the little mini camera to the left there, fly the drone into the robot, and then press the fire button to detonate the EMP blast, which by default is left click on the mouse. As long as it says disabled above the bot, you did it right, so you're good. We want to disable those bots because as soon as the weapons lock is off, Jock is gonna launch a missile to blast open the doors so we can get out. And that's gonna set off an unavoidable alarm, and then the robots are gonna be deployed, but since they're disabled, they're not gonna do anything. So now we want to go here. There's some money, right there. Some more pepper cartridges for the pepper gun if you need them. What you want to do is lockpick the door to the right. This is the wrong one. I just forgot which door was correct in the heat of the moment, so I quick loaded to revert the mistake. You'll need 2 picks to get through the locker on the right. There's our key to the control room. So now to the control room we go. So that room where we disabled the cameras, the control room for getting the weapons lock off is going to be the one across the hall from that one. So we just need to go back where we were. Yeah, I'm going the right way. Anyways, just backtrack. Just solid snaking through the vents, I guess you could say. Anyways, we're back here, so we'll go this way and then back this way. So once we get to the other end of here, we'll be back to those ladders and we can climb up again. Alright. Here we go. Yep. Back up to the top right here. And now, this time, out the door. And then that control room at the other end of the hall. Get your key ring out. That's the door that the key will unlock. And you need this key because you can't lockpick this door. So, yep, unlock. And then you'll just want to push the big button that says weapon lock right next to it. Or weapons lock, I guess. There you go.
Back in business. Come on down and stay clear of the
Alright, now we'll backtrack again. We want to get back out to the helipad area, and this is one of the annoying parts of the game, is sometimes I'll be honest, I don't really understand how it works entirely, no matter how many times I've played this game, but triggering Jock to reposition the chopper and then launch the missile at the bay doors or the blast doors or whatever. I don't really understand how it works. While you're up here, there's a repair bot that can replenish your bioenergy. To my understanding, you either need to be as far to the right and or left as possible. But I don't really know what triggers it specifically. Eventually you'll see it trigger. What did it for me is that there's a doorway that's like behind where we're standing. I kind of stood in that doorway a little bit, and then Jock decided that he wanted to launch the missile like he said. So I don't really fully understand how this is triggered, but eventually it'll happen. Sometimes you just gotta wander around and just wait. Sorry. If you're like me and you're an obsessive quick saver and you don't really do a lot of like manual backup saves, I'd say this is a good time to do one, because I don't think there's anything that can cause this to be a soft lock. You just gotta wander around until it happens, basically, which is annoying, but hey, this game's got some age to it, so it's bound to have a lot of quirks by modern standards. But there's lots of games that I love that still mostly hold up with quirks due to age. This is one of them. The original Half-Life. The original Half-Life, I think, has aged really, really, really well. The original Max Payne, I think that's a good example. Anyways, here's where I finally got it to happen. And I'm not 100% sure what triggered it. I think it was being close to that doorway, I guess. Anyways, once it finally happens, the robots are disabled, so you don't have to worry about them. You're gonna have to use 3 multi-tools on this fuse box because we need to disable that electricity so that it doesn't fry us when we get through. If we had the energy shield augmentation, I think that's what would have protected us, but we don't. Anyways, take the elevator down, and then hit the door button to open it up, and now we're in the Wan Chai Market.
Okay, you need to find
Hopefully I am pronouncing that right.
Drop Paul off in a small compound east of the market.
So, first thing we need to do,
Don't lose any time.
we need to go to the door of the Luminous Path compound, which is guarded by a man named Gordon Quick. He'll give us our quest to earn the trust of the Luminous Path Triad.
Paul is no friend of the
Basically, there's a woman that's working for Majestic 12 named Maggie Chow, who is deliberately trying to instigate gang war between the Luminous Path and the Red Arrow Triads. Kind of reminds me of, you know, since I'm such a big Hitman fan, it kind of reminds me of the Red Dragons and the Blue Lotus being forced into war, but anyways, that's off topic. In order to potentially negotiate a truce between them, we have to prove that Maggie Chow is the conspirator by going to her apartment and stealing the Dragon's Tooth sword, which she has stolen from the Red Arrow. So that's what we're gonna do. If you're playing this game blind and you're figuring stuff out, there's a good chance that you'll well, hopefully you won't, since it's kind of obvious, but
first I need to find a man
there's a chance you can fall for Maggie Chow's lies, and she'll kind of send you into a trap where you have to access an evidence locker at a police station, which basically gives you nothing of value. Obviously, we're gonna bypass all that bullshit and get this done quickly. We're going straight to Maggie Chow. We're gonna knock her out straight away. We're obviously not gonna kill her because with the exception of Agent Navarra, who we were forced to kill, we will never kill in this game. Anyways, we need to go to the canal area. Just follow the way I'm going, and we will go to Tonochi Road, which is where the Queen's Tower apartment complex is, where Maggie Chow lives. So Tonochi Road is this way. And then, as far as sneaking into the hidden area of the apartment where the sword is, there is like a back door where you can get to the roof and get in that way, but since we don't have the cloak augmentation yet, that path is not the most viable. It's honestly best to just access the apartment through the front door, because she's just gonna let us in anyway, and then do things from there. There's some money right there. Now, I hacked this security panel and turned the cameras off, but it's not necessary. You really, really do not have to do this, unless you're planning on using the back way to get to the roof. Anyways, if you go to this little public computer, it says that Maggie Chow is allowing anyone to enter, and you can call the penthouse elevator and go straight up. But we're not falling for her tricks, though. Not only are we gonna knock her out, but we're also gonna knock out her maid here,
looking for Maggie Chow,
because she's packing a pistol. And if we go upstairs, even if she's 100 miles away, go ahead and do the aim above her head to knock her out with the baton. Anyways, if you go upstairs and even if you're like a million miles away, or even if she's a million miles away, I mean, she will telepathically know that you went upstairs, and then she'll charge up to scold you.
And Paul, you know my brother.
So it's best to knock her out. Same with Maggie Chow here. After you have the conversation with her, But with
He can
Maggie
keep a
here,
secret, even
you
from
need to
his
be
own
very,
brother.
very, very quick
Why?
at knocking
Paul
her
told
out.
you about Majestic 12,
You'll have to
correct?
very quickly,
The conspiracy behind
again,
United
do
Cult?
the knockout
What's the
trick
name?
where you
Majestic 12 sent Paul
where
to
you
murder
aim
the
above
former
her,
Red Arrow
you aim
leader.
above the head from
And
behind,
me too.
and then whack with the
Did he
baton,
double-cross them?
so that
Rest
it's
to
an
say,
instant
I
knockout.
persuaded him to join our side.
What does Majestic 12?
Alternatively,
Red
you can
Arrow?
use the
We are
prod,
winning
but
the triad
as I've
war against
explained in the
Majestic 12's
past,
ally, the Luminous Path.
if I need to perform
We
a
were developing
non-lethal
a new
takedown,
technology. You might
I
have
only
heard about
use the
sword.
prod when I have
The
to.
dragon's tooth,
Like,
right?
for the
The
most
triad
part, it's
settled
strictly
disputes
been
in
for people
contests of
sitting in
skill,
chairs,
which includes
since the
the crafting
baton
of
trick
weapons.
doesn't work if they're sitting in a
Dragon's
chair.
Tooth would have made us
And then later in the
unstoppable.
game, there'll be
So Majestic
tougher
12.
enemies like
They're trying to tip the
MJ-12
balance,
commandos
give the
or
Luminous
the
Path a technological
cyborg
advantage.
agents in the black suits,
Exactly.
where
Try to warn the people
we
of the
have to
danger.
do the knockout trick
And the
with the
Luminous Path calls me
prod
a liar.
and
The
combat
police have all
strength
the evidence they need
activated.
to settle this. Locked up in the station at the Wanchai Market.
Anyways,
But they will not act.
Once this conversation
I
finally
know
comes
the
to
code
an
to their
end,
vault.
we'll knock her out and go
87342.
upstairs and do stuff.
It's only fair to tell you that I spoke
So,
to Cloak before coming here. I thought he was a friend of my brother.
She's basically
Agreed to
trying to
visit you
trick
and learn the
us
truth
into
of the
thinking
situation.
that
Yes, you were seeing.
the Luminous Path
Blue
and
Red
Tracer
Arrow leader is a
Tong
Max
are the bad
Chen, and you
guys.
don't have to go to the
But
Lucky
that
Man
is
for
some
him to know your
bullshit right
activities.
there.
Now tell me
Especially
about Paul.
since,
Why did he not return?
Paul
Paul's on his way to Hong
himself
Kong.
is the
I don't know when he
one
will arrive.
Then
who
you must
wanted
think for
us,
yourself.
who mentioned
In
Tracer
Hong Kong,
Tong
the truth
before
is
we
seldom
talked to
kept in plain
Lebedev.
sight.
Anyways, very quickly, get her knocked out. I recommend knocking her out now because later on, once we're in VersaLife, she's gonna become kind of a pseudo boss fight if we don't take her out here. So, but if you do take her out here, even if you just knock her out, I'm pretty certain she doesn't appear at VersaLife level 2. Anyways, hack the security panel in the office upstairs. And when you disable the first security camera, there's also an action to open a door. Make sure you open that door. You'll see in just a second why. So to access the area where the sword is, pull that to open this door. And then that doorway that has a keypad next to it, this is the door that we opened via that security panel upstairs. It's very important that you do that. In addition to disabling the cameras, of course. Make sure you're sneaking in here because there's Majestic 12 troops that could hear your footsteps if you're not. So we want to hack this computer, and then we're going to open the weapon cage, and then inside is the dragon's tooth. What's nice is that we get to keep this sword for ourselves. This is the best melee weapon in the game. Of course, since we're not killing people, we'll never ever use it in an offensive manner against any type of enemy. But we are keeping it because later in the game, once the low-tech weapon skill has reached Master, in combination with the combat strength aug set to at least tier 2, we can use combat strength and the dragon's tooth to destroy locked doors to help save lockpicks. Obviously that's situational because it's loud as hell, but it's going to be super useful, trust me. Anyways, once we have the dragon's tooth, we can get out of the apartment, and we're gonna... If you listen to Tracer Tong over the Infalink, he told us to go to the Red Arrow leader, Max Chen, at the Lucky Money Club, which is exactly what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna go ahead and set the dragon's tooth as a hotkey item because... I mean, like I said, its usage... Right now, the usage is situational, but later in the game, once our low-tech weapon skill is at Master, we will be using it along with the combat strength augmentation to destroy locked doors in a situation where we want to do it to conserve lockpicks as best as possible. So now we'll head to the Lucky Money. So over here, you can talk to Gordon quick now if you want to, but all he's gonna do is just tell you to go to the Lucky Money again. So let's just go there ourselves. So here's the underground mall. The Lucky Money Club is down here. Unfortunately, as far as I know, the front door is the only way into the club, so you're gonna have to pay admission price. Thankfully, the door woman, she's got some kind of kink for us.
There you go.
So she's going to allow us to enter for only 25 credits. So at least it's cheap. So in we go. Before we do our business, let's have some fun and talk to these goth chicks.
Get in the middle. Come on.
Yeah, they're...
You would look good
Don't
with
you just
that.
love how they're dancing?
Aren't you hot in that coat? Yeah, baby.
I love the party. Woohoo!
Bitchin' music.
This is bitchin' music. Those are some of my favorite dialogues right there. Anyways, that's not important to do. What is important to do is
I'm looking for Max Chen.
I would go ahead and talk to the bartender, ask him for Max Chen, and then tell him that Maggie Chow sent you, so that he'll tell you exactly where to go, which is
I'll get a drink later.
the door behind the bar.
You see,
Right over
in my
here.
class, where in the US, either you have
Don't tell him that Tracer Tong sent you, because he won't tell you where to go. I'm pretty certain you can still just walk back here,
Excuse me,
but
sir.
I guess
This
I
room is
wanted to
off
make it
limits to club
realistic.
patrons. I
Anyways,
suggest you leave.
we'll head to the
okay.
office for Max
I'm here to see
Chen,
Max
and
Chen.
we're gonna have to talk to him,
Don't
and
expect
then
An American.
what's gonna happen after
hope
our
he likes what you
conversation
have
with
to
Max
say.
Chen is that some MJ-12 commandos are going to attack the club. And this is a good time to do a backup save, because this part can go wrong if you're not careful. What's supposed to happen is that the Red Arrow Triad members are supposed to eliminate the MJ-12 commandos for us.
You must
But
be Max
sometimes
Chen.
it doesn't always work out.
I have found something in this
Sometimes
child department that matters to you.
Sometimes the MJ-12
Sword was never
commandos
destroyed.
end up
It was
basically
stolen, and she is the one
slaughtering
who stole
them
Preposterous.
and
have it right
making
here.
this difficult for us.
Chow?
And we want this
She
to
works
go
for
a
group
certain
called
way.
Majestic 12. She's using you and the Red Arrow.
There's
for her
at least
revenge.
3 MJ-12 commandos that are going to
Think
spawn.
about it. She murders your
And as
predecessor,
long as this
hides
goes
the sword,
correctly,
pushes the
all
Red Arrow
3
into
of
the
them
world
will
to
get
lose
killed
path.
by the
What
Triad
next?
members.
The Triads are
We
weak
want
and
this
the
to
outside
happen
group seizes
because,
power.
well, first of
Sound
all,
far-fetched?
we can get a biocell
be
off of
an
all 3 of them,
explanation.
but
Perhaps
more
we should
importantly,
use a luminous
one
path.
of them has a thermoptic camo on them, which we want to take.
I will stop
Because there's going to be a
until I
4th
have
one
completed my
standing at the
investigation.
club entrance, and his positioning is random. Sometimes you might get lucky, and he might be
MJ-12
facing
troops.
away
You
from
must have
you,
followed me.
but what I recommend doing is using that thermoptic camo that we get in combination with the Run Silent AUG, so that you can just slip past him undetected. Thankfully, during this recording, this went flawlessly. Not only did... That's the one that had the thermoptic camo. One of them does. You just have to check them all, and you'll find it. But they all have biocells, so you want to check them all anyway. One of them also has a ballistic armor, but you can just drop that, because we don't want it. Anyways, there's the other one I mentioned. I probably could have snuck past him, but it doesn't always work that way. So, put the thermoptic camo on and turn on your Run Silent, which is F7. At this point, you can turn the Run Silent off. You're fine. And then eventually the thermoptic camo will deplete. Alright. Now we go back to the Luminous Path compound. We will finally be permitted to get in. so that we can meet Tracer Tong and get our kill switch deactivated. And then from there, we will work with Tong to
Right.
do things that we
Chow is
need
a
to
con
do
artist.
in relation to
Yes, I found the source of
cracking
the
down and uncovering the conspiracy behind Majestic 12.
Who is the real traitor?
So Gordon Quick will let us in. He'll give us the keypad code to the front gate, which is 1997.
Certain?
Majestic 12.
And then we're gonna have to put...
Consider forming an alliance.
When you're in the compound, there's another door with a keypad. The code is exactly the same.
Is inside,
1997.
in his laboratory below the compound. The door
Alright,
is
so
in the starting room. He will know
just,
what to do next. To enter our compound,
Put the
use
code in and get in once you're
1997.
able. Yep, like so. If you go over here, there's some money.
While you are
Go
here,
ahead and steal it.
observe the laws of the triad.
And then, let's head on in. Nothing really over here. Or over here, honestly. At the very least, nothing that we particularly want. So let's head in. And then... there's a med kit under one of these beds if you want to take it. And then there's some prod chargers over here along with a prod, but we already have a prod. Here's the keypad. 1997 is also the code for this one. And then this will take us down to Tracer Tong's laboratories, but we'll be going there next time. I'm gonna call it here. See ya!